ערב טוב לכולם. Good evening everyone. קוראים לי שחר להב. My name is Shahar Lav. I'm 16 years old and I live in Pardes Chana. Last spring, I decided to join this 10-day camp of Arabs and Jews. To be honest, I didn't really know what to expect, but I was curious and it seemed like it could be fun. I have met Arab kids before through a program in my school a few years ago, but I never had the experience of being part of a group like this, or living together for 10 days. Even though there was a cultural gap, it felt very natural to be together. We had a lot of activities where we spoke about the important topics, but it was more focused on fun than I thought there would be in a camp like this. I think those activities were really important for bonding us as a group, and that bond allowed us to have deep conversations about bigger topics, including and maybe especially outside of the activities during the day. In the night, before we went to sleep, I would talk with my roommates for hours. One thing I noticed is that it didn't matter what we talked about. After 1, 2, or 4 hours, it would eventually come to religion. I really think that the time at the end of the day, before we go to sleep, those hours were the most impactful and important. I am optimistic that my generation is less hateful than the previous one, and that the problems between us will be solved within my lifetime. But I think it's important to make it happen faster. The sooner, the better. Through my experience in Heart to Art, my perspective on the situation here became more focused. Now I understand just how deeply rooted this conflict is. I think a big part of it is religion, but there are many factors. We do need to tackle prejudice and racism, but we also need to change structural things, like laws against hate crimes and addressing things like that happened in the past, like people losing their land or homes. People need to decide that living together in peace is more important than the things they feel attached to. And we need to find a way to address injustices that happened in the past. I think the young generation need to talk seriously about what politicians are doing wrong, but their generation did wrong, and how we want to do things differently. When you talk to someone and see him and actually know him, you humanize him, you know his name and see him as a real person, which makes you care more about him. If the people who have power had these experiences of sitting with someone, their agendas might change. Eventually, it will be people who are now young who have the power. I think Heart to Art is a great program, and I want to give my time to help it, which is why I'm talking to you tonight. More than being great, it's an important program, because there are not enough connections between Arab and Jewish teenagers. I think it's something that should happen more. If in every school, even once a month, Jewish teenagers had the chance to meet teenagers from Arab schools, I think it would help. The older generation created this world, but I think that the connection between Jewish and Arab teenagers will help to prevent it in the future. I think if every Jewish and Arab teenager sat together for falafel also and actually talked, none of them would hate each other, because there's really no reason to. I am an atheist, and I feel that throughout history and into the present, a lot of wars have been fought because of religion. But when you sit and talk to each other, maybe you can realize that it's even the same God. So what are you fighting over? This is what Heart to Art does. Gives you the opportunity to sit and really talk to each other. And not just once a month for falafel, but for 10 days, talking to each other for hours every night. Thank you.